Hey everyone, I'm Winnipeg Sun Sports editor Ted Wyman here with CFL football reporter Kirk Penton, and we're outside the Blue Bombers locker room after the 2016 CFL draft. And Kirk, a pretty good day for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They didn't have a pick until the 9th and 10th overall in the second round, but it seemed like some players fell to them that they really feel can be of use to them very soon.
Yeah, first pick at number 9 was Virginia defensive end Trent Corney, very athletic fellow. Only played a couple years of defensive end at Virginia, but got on an NCAA team and did well. So with Jamal Westerman and Keith Shalogan on the defensive line, that's some very good depth there. He doesn't have to come in and start right away, just like Kyle Walters said. They didn't need to find a starter with that 9th pick, and so Trent Corney is under no pressure to come in and start. Then at number 10, they got an offensive lineman in Michael Couture, who comes out of Simon Fraser. He had a very good day at the CFL Combine back in March, performed very well against the defensive ends, and he'll provide them with some depth. They needed an offensive lineman there if they want to start 3, and they got one of the 6 or 7 who were pegged to be very good offensive linemen in this draft.
I think that was a very key pick for the Blue Bombers. Kyle Walters talked about how they saw as the offensive linemen were ticking off, and 5 of them went in that first round. And there was a time when they didn't think they were going to get their guy, but they had Couture ranked fairly highly. A lot of draft boards had him ranked higher than where he went, which was at number 10. And so the Bombers really felt like they got something special there, a guy that can come in and do something right away for them, at least in terms of a backup role and providing more competition for the Canadian O-line spot.
Absolutely. Kyle Walters saying that Bob Wiley, the offensive line coach, and Paul Lapalisse, the offensive coordinator, had Couture ranked number 1 among offensive linemen.
And he and his scouting staff had him in the top 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe people always say that. But
One's a reach. Yes, every team after the draft says they can't believe that their guy was there. But no, I think he's a very capable guy who could probably have a pretty long future. And he knows Matthias Gosen pretty well, too. They're both from Simon Fraser, so there's a bit of a connection there.
Bottom line is the overall Canadian depth of this team is better today, most likely than it was yesterday, and it was a lot better yesterday than it was at the end of last season.
Yeah.
So things are on the upswing now.
Absolutely. It's still going to be tough, I think, to find 7 top-notch Canadian starters. I think they're getting closer. I don't know if they're there yet, but yeah, they are closer, that's for sure. Some of the other picks, they had 8 picks, so we're not going to go through them all.
Yeah.
Rupert Butcher is kind of the interesting name. The TSN folks, the guys doing the draft, said that was a steal. He's a huge mountain of a man. What are his numbers? 327?
Oh, yeah. He's a giant.
6'5",
327, and they said he had just an amazing combine. Apparently was pushing around offensive linemen who look like project to be future CFLers themselves. And
he did very well.
Maybe I guess they said maybe he had more flashes when he was actually in college, but didn't. It wasn't that he didn't have the size and the skills. Maybe the effort was not there every time, but they certainly see a lot of potential in him. And there's a guy that could be really good, and Taylor Loeffler as well, the potential safety linebacker who out of UBC, who formerly played at Boise State. I mean, there's a guy who comes in here, and they talk about him right away being a guy that could come in here and compete for a spot. Yeah,
Taylor Loeffler, I saw him at the Combine where Rupert Butcher also had a very good day, and Taylor Loeffler just looks like a football player. He's like 6'4". He just looks like one of those guys you want on your football team. Brian Dobie, Bison's head coach, just raves about Taylor Loeffler. Said he was the key member of the UBC defense that won a Vanier Cup. So, yeah, you look at that, and there are some positive signs out of what the Bombers did tonight.
Well, there sure are. We're going to have to wrap this up, but we should say that Brian Dobie's Bisons had quite a good day as well.
There they are, the Bisons.
With, several players drafted, including Alex Vitt going to the Blue Bombers as wide receiver.
That's right, another very notable Bomber pick. He went 55th overall. He said he couldn't believe that. He said he was stunned when he saw his name come up on the computer. So it was a pretty good night, I'd say, for the Bisons and the Bombers. We'll see how much. We'll see how they'll be able to turn it into wins this season.
Training camp coming up in just a couple of weeks.